Hey everybody, this is Painting Platinum number 42, I believe. We're still working on the Phoenix. Um, I think we'll use the color star again today just to kind of look at it and establish what we're doing because that seemed to be pretty fun last time. It seemed to be pretty popular. We're also going to give away the phthalo colors and a surprise color. Last week I sent out a sample. So I did something. Let me see if I have it. Okay, I do. I sent out two colors that are going to be discontinued or inactive. We need to be in the habit of calling it inactive because that's really what it is. Spooky purple. This is not a real color. This is a sample. It's kind of similar to Drow Nipple actually, but it's not. Sorry. And so yeah, I sent that out. But what we need to be really careful of is it doesn't have. I could make it again, but it doesn't have a formula, so it's got a name. But the only reason I put a name on it is so people will kind of know what they got. I noticed whenever I sent something out that somebody thought was sky steel or sky, I don't remember, but yeah, so I just want to be clear about what stuff is so they don't find it and think, oh, this is Drow Nipple. Or even there was a color I called not Drow Nipple pink. So Ed Rajai, hi there, it's not Drow Nipple pink. So that's what we've got. But we're going to be giving away the clear orange, phthalo green, and phthalo blue with a bonus of whatever I decide to give you. So, oopsies. Let me see if I did that right. Did that zoom out? I guess it didn't zoom out. I guess I'm just not like far up enough. Forgive me. But I'm gonna have to do some business here. Okay. Thanks, Paladin. There's something I don't like about it. So I was looking at it last night. I don't know how that's... It's relatively good. It's softer in person. So I've never done this before, but I know people seal things. I don't know if I'll seal it and maybe I'll be able to put gloss on some parts and not on others. That's one of the next things that I want to work into, that I was talking to Ed about with skin that looks like skin. Hi, Planer Spoons. Rings Raccoon. Evil Twin Mason. Oh, hi, Grim. I love that. Hi, maybe one. Maybe someday Justin will let us do something in the evening so that everybody can be a part of it. Anyway. He wants to give everybody a show before I get my second show. I hate that.
Sorry, that was pretty funny.
But we'll see when we get a little bit more into serious stuff. We're going to get to a point where there's stuff I actually want to talk about and do that's not going to be... Yeah, Painting Platinum After Dark, it's got to happen. I was going to do it on my own time, but the plan is now to do something that is with my boyfriend and themed around that. It's not really word themed, but that is going to be the theme, is that we paint stuff together. But I don't want to take the whole studio back and forth to his house. As of right now, sometimes I take my computer home, sometimes I don't. And I would rather just do it when, Platinum Plus. I would rather just do it when we move into the new studio, so I don't have to worry about setting this up, which is already kind of getting old only because of reasons, dumb reasons on my part. My computer's just, I don't keep up with my computer like I should. It's just not a huge priority of mine because I don't use it that often. So I run into problems that are probably preventable with just having a computer that's maintained. Let's see. Okay. I was adjusting my volume that turns down. Um, but yeah, that's what we've got going. Justin is, I'll let him tell you, busy as always. But what have you been up to, Justin?
All the things. Actually, you know what? We can premiere it here, but I was going to talk about tonight on Reaper Live too. We have a hard date for the start of Luca's show. I finally decided that if I was going to wait, I didn't want to wait any longer because we had been, I say we, I had been waiting because, we had a million things going on to kind of get his show ironed out. But I've decided that we're just going to go ahead and launch it on November 4th, which means that'll be at
Nice.
3 p.m. It'll be a Wednesday, November 4th. And we're gonna launch it, and we will figure out most of the stuff after it's launched. I mean, just because right now the main concern is getting the studio ironed out, and for me personally, I have to get the videos finished for the con too, because it's a massive blob of chopping stuff up. We were talking about it beforehand. I'm hoping to have those done by this Friday, so I would say no later than this weekend. All of the con videos should be up,
Soon,
every
TM.
last one of them,
TM
all of
soon.
them. And then Ron has a video project he wants done this next Wednesday. So we have a lot of stuff in the works, and it's actually I actually feel busier right now than I kind of did before ReaperCon, mainly because that was one project that was big, and this is a bunch of medium-sized projects.
Howdy, Dave Dwyer. Everybody. Oval Farah. Gimli. Paladin 65. Mobrock. Hopefully I said hi to everybody. Sometimes I just think it and I don't say it. Um, but anyway, yeah. That's all really exciting. And it's kind of part of growing up. Like, I've gotten so busy. I'll talk to my best friend and I'll tell her how late I work and she's like, "Ew." And I'm like, really? Like, I don't know if it's just maturity, like being kind of, not that everything's about this, but when you have ADHD, I've heard that sometimes you mature later and it takes you a long time to learn to adult, especially when you're not really working on it. So I feel like I'm a lot happier to work a lot. I enjoy it a lot. Um, we won't ask too many questions about how Justin feels about that because I feel like that's rude. Because what if
About
he
how I
hates
feel
it?
about
Working a lot.
what? Um,
We won't put anybody on
I
the spot. I've done that before.
no no no. To me, it's actually kind of an easy answer. I think that if I wasn't working a good amount, like I would rather feel like I've got 50 hours worth of work that I need to do every week in order to kind of be where it needs to be versus having 20 hours of work. One feels much worse than the other, in my opinion. I would rather be exhausted at the end of the week and then like not feel guilty about taking an entire Saturday to I don't know, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Than not have enough work and just feel like I'm just stealing the company's money.
Yeah. I will, because I'm really bad about like just messing around and like talking to people. So what I've tried to do, because I talked to Collins, is really like they joke or used to that he was the spiritual and ethical advisor. But for the time that I have been here, plus or minus the time that I was working here, just like right out of high school when I was in college, but like for the time I've been here seriously, so maybe about the time John Overton started, maybe Collins very quickly understood the way Reaper works. Like he really gets it. So he's the person, lucky him, that I bounce all this shit off of because I'm like, oh, he'll give the best advice. He'll know what's up, and I don't know why. I think part of it's like being in the military, and Ed and Dave's dad was in the military, so a lot of the way they do things is sort of in that realm. I don't know what it is, but anyway, I talked to Collins about it. I was like, I work like all the time, and I know they probably don't want me working that much. And he was telling me you have to be sure that you're using your time wisely, and you're staying on task or whatever. So what I'll try to do is, I mean, I always have stuff I need to do that's not not even like personal, but just not the most important thing to do. So I'll do that off the clock, and I try to make that even with the time I dick around rather than clocking out. Because who clocks out to go dick around?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I mean, to be like, oh, hey, Justin, here's your monster. And Justin to be like, did you do something to it? And me to joke around about that. Like we did yesterday. I'm not going to clock out for that. But that does take time. That's not strictly work. Even talking to Ed, I distract Ed so bad. And I'm like, well, that's not really working. So anyway, I tried to make it even without getting in a work off the clock situation, because some people think that's unethical. I don't think so. I think it sets a bad precedent, though. Anyway, this is our color star, vintage great grandmother color star. So I looked at this last week to give us some rules, because I like rules. I like and hate rules. Okay. It's gonna be hard to get this all the way in. Nobody say anything. That's terrible. Low hanging fruit. I know.
I did. I said it to myself.
I know, because I used to work with you.
I all I said was giggity though. I didn't, I went the old Family Guy route.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our color star. I think what I decided was, did I decide against this? I think this is what I decided. So I can do red, orange, yellow, green, blue, green, and red, violet. So for the red, violet, I think I just want to put a little bit in this fire. But I might not end up using red, violet. But for now, this is what we'll start with. Somebody says $450 color star. Woohoo. I haven't looked at it, but I did hear that it was really expensive on the internet. It might be out of print. But that'll give us some rules to follow, because I definitely work a little better when I have some rules. So I'll like put that up for myself somewhere. But that would be neat. Like, I don't know how much that would be plagiarism, not really plagiarism, but whatever, to make something similar, because I bet there'd be something that's more pertinent to mini painting that we could make that uses that idea. The color star, I mean. But yeah, anyway, that's what we're doing. So I'm going to start with Alchemical Green, which, that's not mixed enough. Let's see. Margaret says, I got my paint order in yesterday. Thank you for putting the removed paints back up for sale so I could stock up on a few. I'm glad they decided to do that. I wasn't in on that. I have been advocating for a way to get these paints, because I know how it is to be a completionist and to really want something or use something all the time and not get it. So I suggested, and we're not going to do this. I've seen this asked, is why I bring this up, but we're not going to do this. I was like, you know how like on I think it's Teespring, it's like, oh, if you want this t-shirt, you like, it's almost like Kickstarter. I don't know if I'm talking about Teespring, but anyway, it's like, oh, I want this, and if this many people want it, it'll get printed. Thanks, Sci-Fi Paints. I suggested that, and Ed was like, no way. We don't have a way to work that into the flow of things. So I have a bad habit of just volunteering to do things. And Ed was like, well, what if you go on vacation for 2 weeks or something? I was like, where am I going to go? I don't go on vacation. But what I realized is what he means is just what if, especially right now in this current climate of uncertainty. So, hi, Anamir. This is a painting platinum. New-ish painter. I worked through the core and layer up kits by Reaper, and now I'm working on a phoenix. We're doing a red orange phoenix with blue and yellow green fire, and this is kind of I'll go back to our color star real quick. We're doing 4-part, I think you call that like 4-part color harmony with red violet, red orange, yellow green, blue green. So, not that it matters. I know a lot of people just do it however they feel like doing it. And yeah, just one of the Reaper people who paints on Twitch. One of the two. Long as we're on ethical work behavior, just mix the paint up and tell us here, Sadie, that's not unethical. What if you sell the non-production paints only in non-production triad sets? Okay, so there's a couple things. It's space, and it's for racks, and it's time. So that's real dry brush. I talked too long. So I'm trying to think of how to. Yeah, you get it, Rings Raccoon. I shouldn't over explain. You guys get it. But the workaround is that you can order 10 bottles, and well, you can email Katie asking for an order of 10 colors. We'll tell you if that's available. It might not be available for whatever reason. And we make a small batch. So I did my first small batch. Was it this week? I think it was this week. So yeah, that's the kind of workaround with that, which made me so happy. And that's the good thing about Ed is if you suggest something to Ed, and I was telling Justin this last week, if you suggest something to Ed, he will often think about it later. Like, he might tell you no right away, but Ed's one of these, like, go home and fall asleep thinking about work people, and I know this because he'll come to work the next day, and he'll be like, I was thinking about what you said last night, and whatever. So, he also wants to be fair, and he understands the plight of the completionist. So, but he also wants us to be able to provide new things, and there's things that he's always wanted. And now that, I would say, because I am less experienced than Anne, I have less of a vision for the line, more of a general just things I like. They get a little bit more of what they want, and there's a few things that Ed wants before. Hi, Vigo's peeps. Let's see. Oh yeah, so then I was gonna do a show where I mix colors to make the colors. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that soon. TM. That'll take me looking at them and like thinking my way around them, and I'll have to think of how many I can do in one show. This would be another reason why it would be a good idea to have another painting platinum type show, because that'll be pretty serious. That won't be as fun. I mean, it's fun, but a different kind of fun. This is normally the off the wall, we don't have to focus on anything fun, and that would be a highly focused project. Hyper Bunny said, what I thought was funny, odd, is that a fair number of the colors were on the chopping block I just discovered during ReaperCon. It's like I just heard of them, became interested, and then poof. So I'm really glad the change to sell until unavailable. Yes. So what happened was we had these classes. We've got things all over the shop. So we have classes, we have kits, we have like the Erin Lovejoy class kit. Miniature Monday. We have all this stuff, and it's all like, in order to pick these things, it's really hard. You have to go to all these different places, and then the fast palettes, and then the Kickstarter. You have to look at all these things. So that's what happened. We did have some for the classes because we didn't announce it. So, but yeah, that's what happened, and we do still have them. So it's better to sell them than to give them away, which is what we're going to do. We're going to give them away as samples. And I was like, ooh, there are people that want these though. Anyway, Chef of Love said I think of this more as a live show with a little painting added in. Yeah, me too. So, but I would like to get further on this Phoenix because there's things I'm excited about. I just don't remember what. Number one is getting that actually feather colored. And like, so I haven't stuck this to a mini holder because it's so big, it's hard to move around, but I probably should because I'm getting little white bits here. These little white bits in here are probably just from not being painted well enough, and I haven't done any shadows on the back. There's so much to do. Where's my Phoenix red? Do I not have okay, good. I do have it. Speaking of life, this fucking year, excuse me, Justin, excuse me.
Oh boy.
This year, I have been really chill about it. Okay, like I've been really chill about it. I'm just gonna take, first the happy show. I'm just take this long to be like, I got 2 elderly animals, and one might be taken by 2020. Like, she is 17, she's a little puppy, and she's about to that point. She's over it. She's blind and deaf. She's over it. So whatever. Like, this happened within the last few days, and then whatever. So I lost my grandparents. They were ready. They were cool. Whatever. Trying to be positive about it. And then my dog starts getting sick. And 2020 takes Eddie Van Halen. And we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Who else have we even lost? I can't even remember this year. This year's been awful. And I know everybody's been saying it. Put the brush in the paint. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, I was telling Justin, when I heard Eddie Van Halen died, I yelled out, I am so effing depressed. I'm so mad. Ugh. Anyway, I know it's bad for everybody. I don't want to take all the mad and sad. And I'm sure it's happy for some people, or people getting married and babies being born and puppies being adopted, but I'd like to take a mad corner. Can we have a mad corner? Guy had cancer forever. And then Valerie, not only did Valerie Bertinelli make this really touching post, I think they got divorced like in the late aughts, like 2007 or whatever. But she wrote this post about him. It was just like, it's just, I don't know. It's just sad. Sammy Hagar, this is what really kills me because I love Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar wrote this thing about like how they weren't really, I think there was a time they were fighting or not getting along, and said that they ended things well. And there's not happy. Not happy about it. Trying to, we'll end it there. I won't go too deep into this spiral, but not super thrilled.
I don't blame you, buddy.
I've been getting in my feelings a lot lately, like watching, I'm sure other people do this or it wouldn't be on there, but first I watched interviews with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, My favorite being a Colbert interview where they did her workout and he asked her, oh, I got a little red where it shouldn't have gone. He asked her, in her opinion, like, what is her judgment? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Oh man, I lost my dealie. And she was asking him, well, how do you define a sandwich? So they were back and forth on it. Like, I don't remember what she asked. So it's between two pieces of bread, and it doesn't have to be connected because there are sub sandwiches that are. Doesn't have to be disconnected because there are sub sandwiches. So they decided that a hot dog was a sandwich. And I was like, man, that is. I mean, I know the bar is really low, but I feel like there's not too much critical thinking going on, and just seeing somebody get even from something so, what's the word? So inconsequential, is that the word? Whatever. I like seeing people use logic. I like people thinking things through. So anyway, so that was really cool. Oh, somebody mentioned Tom Petty. Let's just break down. And that was pun not intended. Tom Petty has been gone for 3 years, and I still get a lump in my throat when one of his songs comes on. I think Van Halen will be even worse. And
Yeah, I miss Tom Petty too.
we lost Tom Petty, if I'm not mistaken, the the night of the Las Vegas incident, right? I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember the overlap or not. I just because that was 3 years ago, so I really don't remember, to be honest.
It might, Dave Dwyer. It might. I'm about to get to the point where 2021 can't really take anything from me. I'm about to go live in the woods. I've threatened I've threatened before to go run away and live in the woods, or there was an episode of Seinfeld where there was this character that would run away and dig a hole when he was upset. So that's what I've always felt, growing up with Seinfeld. I've always like, oh, I'll run away and dig a hole. Which got really funny because he ran away and dug a hole, and George went parking with somebody, and he was in Seinfeld's van, which I think the guy had sold him Seinfeld's van, and he was yelling, Seinfeld's van, Seinfeld's van, and George said, he's saying Son of Sam, I knew it wasn't Berkowitz. It's one of my favorite moments on Seinfeld. True crime overlap. Tom Petty had Pendrake. If I remember correctly, Tom Petty went into cardiac arrest and didn't come back. Oh, the fires. Fucking fires. Excuse me. Tom Petty passed the day after October 1st shooting. Yeah. I remember because somebody announced that he had passed, and his daughter was like, no. Maybe it was TMZ. Let's see. Spoon says, I've got a friend who's a new parent, and it's a whole level of complexity I can't even imagine right now. Yeah, I hate to be that person, but I mean, it's always like, I've always heard people say that, but I've kind of gotten to where, not just like as a time in history, because they say, and I do believe, that generally crime is down, like things are good. They look bad, but they're really better than they've been in a long time. I do find myself thinking, like, do I really have anything to offer a new person? You know? I mean, they're, like, don't get me wrong, they're good things, but as somebody with a lot of anxiety, I've always been very concerned that if I had children, they would be very anxious. And I've wondered aloud, what do you say to somebody who's upset and nervous about something that you're upset and nervous about? My cousins told me you just pretend you're not upset, which is fair enough. But anyway, yeah, it's a weird time to be having children. Mo Brock had a son before the craziness in February. Congrats. I really do think the world is great, and I think that the Gen Zs as leaders will have it covered. Um, Spoon said, had to get COVID test because somebody was supposed to dog sit for me and someone they work with got it. Also, furnace AC went out and work is on fire. Been done with this week since Tuesday. There's nothing wrong with, well, actually, I don't know. I'm not an authority on what's wrong and what's not. There's nothing wrong with just mailing it in the rest of the week. That's how I feel. I don't do it that often because if I mail it in, the department falls apart, but let's see. So I just covered that part that's supposed to be a feather and I made it into fire. I want to go back. I'm trying to think. In miniature painting, we work dark to light, dark to light. So I want to go and if I'm going to put red violet anywhere in this, I don't even know if I have a violet. I might make a violet. So if I want to put red violet anywhere in this, I think it's going to end up being in the fire and maybe like on the feathers to give it sort of a magical or shiny quality. Steambub says greedy new networks showing the worst of the worst to make a quick bug. Yeah, it's just I don't even know. I don't even know. I have a 6-month-old at the moment. Got 12 weeks of him. Got 12 weeks off for him. That's nice. Hyper Bunny's the only person in their department. Spoon says violet shading on the feathers and deepen the colors. Dark to light, since when thought that applies to airbrushing, not general painting. Oh, Casmania, I'm not an authority on anything. But I think that's what we did. The reason I mentioned that is I think that's what we did in the Learn to Paint kit. Let's see. Oh, cardiac arrest from a mix of prescription drugs for existing medical conditions that had a bad interaction. That was for Tom Petty. None of the drugs were lethal or even dangerous doses, but there were drug interaction that proved fatal. But yeah. Anyway. Jira says, learn a different language, watch their news, you will be much happier, and also you have learned a new language. I had a guitar teacher tell me that the reason that things are so hard for adults, and I know there's like a real reason, but this is like his philosophical reason. He said that can't is the problem, and that little kids, like little babies and stuff, they don't know can't, or they would never learn to walk and talk, you know? So, oh, Valfera, sorry. You told me earlier that O's don't mean anything. That is my super duper white that I made because I test colors on the wings and I like to like gesso over them. I like BBC News. I like BBC News. I don't think I use the BBC News app anymore because I got to where I was a little compulsive about it and I would just like open the app and like reload it over and over again. So I look at news on Reddit now, but I know I'm not getting everything because I didn't see who won the Stanley Cup. Like it never came up. I had to look for it.
Oh, that's not the Stars, unfortunately.
No, I know that now. But I was like, "Oh, yeah, did you hear that it was the Florida team, the Lightning,
Lightning.
and they let all these people drink out of the cup, and somebody on Reddit was like, "That's the most Florida thing I've ever heard. Like during a pandemic, everybody drinks out of the cup. I'm sure they didn't, I'm sure it wasn't like a,
Well, I mean, they
yeah.
they were in a bubble though. That was so. I think during that certain circumstance, it's completely okay.
Um,
So, for instance, they had been like basically in this hyper quarantined area where no one was in, no one was out for like 3 or 4 months.
no NHL players tested positive for COVID so far. I've heard.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they had some when they weren't like when they were doing the regular season stuff, but as soon as they got down to the top, I don't remember how many it was, and they went into the bubble, they didn't have any issues. They quarantined everyone, made sure no one had it, and then they were like crazy lockdown with everyone who went in.
It was really interesting how I don't want to use this purple because it's really muted. I do want a purple. We won't use a purple now. If we need it, we'll get it from somebody. I'm trying not to be so impulsive because I really want to use that purple. Okay, so I need a beak. Valander, did I already tell you you're not wrong? You're not wrong. I don't work that quickly. It would not put me in the category of speed painters. I was about to call down. I try not to call down for too much though, because I feel like I'm being, when you watch old shows and there's like a lady, it's usually a lady. I'm sure it could be a guy too. Hold on a second. This went weird. That's like legitimately working and somebody's like, "Hey, how's about some coffee, lady?" So I always think I'm like, "Ooh, I should have somebody grab something for me or turn up the air or whatever." But I feel like I'm being, I don't even know what the word is. What color is 9319? Well, the 9324 is the last, and that's Sorcerer's Mist. And 9313 is the wood triad, the like ancient wood. Let me see. 9319. Is it a glow? Is it a glowing color? Like maybe the what's it called? Maybe the neon. Is it a neon? Um. Yep, runic glow. Yay, me. Close. Close to it. Okay, I'd like to make a beak color. Oh, you can't see that. Which is probably for the best. Okay. Phantom Glow 319. Phantom Glow. Phantom Glow, not Runic Glow. Okay. I wonder if it's weird for Anne. I'm sure she just doesn't think about it because she can mix whatever she wants. But I wonder if it's weird for Anne not being a part of the whatever, like the rendering inactive of colors or new colors. Like so far, Anne has known about all the new colors though. But whatever the next crop of new colors will be, unless I think she left a few prototypes. Be a non-Anne, and it's kind of a weird. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to get this perfect. No, I won't. It's just kind of a weird era, kind of a weird melancholy feeling. All right, so this is my Happy Kitchen yellow and clear orange. Yeah, the bubble hit my orange paint. What time is it? 3:42. Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot. So I'm very slowly teaching a new person to mix in my department, which is really cool. Um, yeah.
Is this Daniel?
Uh huh. Yep, it's Daniel.
Good, good.
Daniel is oh, he's been here for over a year now, but I like handpicked him. Sarah knew him and was like, "Hey, there's this guy starting who reminds me a lot of Blake and he's really quiet and wears a lot of black." And I was like, "Yes. Yes, yes, yes. He's mine. We'll have him." And but anyway, so we pulled him in. He's really good at He's very smart, very thoughtful. I like that. I've already somebody even thinking about what is a sandwich impresses me at this point. So whatever, but he's very thoughtful. So when I train him to do things, he like asks a lot of questions and he asks for resources. So I've ended up somewhat teaching art because I'm teaching him the colors and the difference and the whatever, and I find myself explaining principles of art and color, and it's really nice. I really like it. Uh, oh, oh, guys, I May Be One is my favorite color, or I May Be One's my favorite color. Maggot White's my favorite color. I May Be One. It is my favorite color. So, but I've tried not to fight it too much because um, Ed has this way of choosing it that's very, what's the word? Very logical. There's a reason, and it's usually like sales and the amount that it moves and and other things. Like, for example, we've been talking about the Kickstarter colors and will they go into production. Um, and we don't know, but he did go ahead and say that the clears would, because have um, clears have proven themselves to be very useful and necessary. Like, I feel like all the clears need to be in it. So, database, analytical, I love it. Yeah, that is true, Hyper Bunny. That is true. So Black Indigo, what I think will happen, I think that they will look at it. Huh. Check out this new triad I came up with. Not peacock green, not chestnut gold, not maggot white. There's still three or so liners on the off list. So that off list, if I'm not mistaken, that off list is every off paint, right? Like every canceled paint. Or am I wrong? Does it have the old canceled paint on it? This looks terrible. This looks like a child did it, not just a childish 30-year-old. And then, if I'm strictly going by the rules that I've created here, I don't get orange. You know what I mean? And I certainly don't get yellow orange, orange yellow. So, there's got to be a better way to show this. Maybe I need another palette cam for my for my doodle. Or I could just take a picture of it. Next time I'll take a picture of it and maybe we can have like a tiny little version. Um, some of this stuff is also based on things being reformulated or what's it called? Ingredients changing, supplies changing. But I try not to argue too much. I'm in a place where I'm trying to learn and listen. I mean, I did argue a lot, don't get me wrong. I did a lot of arguing, and then I felt guilty about it. Because I feel like I hurt Ed's feelings, but I probably didn't. That's probably just me projecting my sensitivity. But Ed and Dave have had this company. You weren't in this meeting Justin, but Ron was just saying that this week was his 25th anniversary with the company. So we've had this company, they've had this company 28 years. Is Reaper 28 years old?
Oh gosh, at this point, I don't know.
So I try not to question too much of their instincts, especially when these colors can always be brought back. Um, my things are the skin tones. Um, Now I have ideas about the skin colors of all of my own, which is if it were just me, I would come up with a new system of um, I would do it like a makeup line, and I would do skin colors in terms of neutral, um, 101, 102, 103. Like I would do them in like the, because I'm from a makeup background, I would do them in the makeup system of like neutral, cool, cool, warm, and I'd probably do olive. But that's just me. Um and how I would do it. That way, whatever, that way it would just be easier. But whatever. Oh, it looks like I did start to go in with some violet or something. Spoons, you're probably right. That's why I don't get to make decisions. Um, it would be new, but it would be basically the way makeup works is warms, light to dark, dark to light, um, cools, neutral warm, neutral cool, etc. Except this is really interesting for me, and maybe not for anybody else. Maybe for Justin, because he has a lady friend. Um, MAC makeup has a different system because their system, this is interesting because it's color theory. Their system uses opposite colors. So if I'm neutral cool, which I am, I'm like cool neutral, and I use MAC, it's neutral warm because their idea is that you use the opposite to neutralize your skin. So if I bought a MAC color, it'd be NW, as if I understand correctly. I don't use MAC, but if I did, anyway. Yeah, I did say except for Justin because he has a lady friend. I know other people have lady friends. Justin, let me tell you another reason why Justin might be excited. Can I tell him what you told me?
Yeah, that's fine.
Justin has developed a liking for RuPaul's Drag Race. Really likes it. He said he'd watch it on his own at this point, and he likes it. And I asked him what his drag name is, and he said he didn't have one yet. Yet. So I think he's thinking about it. Oh, Max Styles
Yeah,
painting. I like that for you.
the personalities are just they're too interesting. They're too over the top. These people have put such great care and time into developing characters and then playing those characters. It's just very interesting to me.
What season are you on?
We just finished season 4.
My favorite moment of
Season 4.
RuPaul's Drag Race, and I don't know what season it's from, is a drag queen getting very upset and saying, "This is not RuPaul's best friend race." And I like to use that in life a lot. Like I might say, I've never said it before, this is not Reaper Miniature's best friend race. It reminds me of a quote by some manager of, I don't know, was it the Eagles? I don't know. This is paraphrased by a comedian where he said that a manager for this band, they were fighting all the time and they were trying to tour. And the manager was like, it's not about getting along. Like, kind of as if to say, let's make this money. Let's get this bread or whatever, as it were. And, but anyway, this isn't RuPaul's best friend race. It's painting platinum. Which is, painting platinum is kind of a best friends race. We're more about
Yeah,
being
yeah,
friendly.
yeah. Why not?
I mean, I think it is. Okay, spoons it says it's a little much, like an 11, and can do maybe a 10. Um, no, okay, so it was painting platinum because I really needed to think of a name, really bad, because the sooner I thought of a name, the sooner I could start my show before anybody changed their mind in my head. And painting platinum was just a nice alliteration and reference to my hair color. Ron wasn't crazy about it because he was like, I think it implies that you're like a platinum level painter. And I was like, well, that's what makes it more fun, you know? But I don't hate it. I actually expected to hate it one day, but I don't hate it. I've thought about rebranding and changing it, but Justin really likes the way Justin would rather add another show for me than have me change it. He didn't say that. I'm just on about that today. It's just what I'm on about.
No, I try to have unique identities for all of our shows. I don't want any two shows to try to have the same flavor. I don't ever want that at all. I want it to feel more like a buffet, right? Where just whatever it is you enjoy and you want to watch, you'll tune in for that, right? So like that's why I really don't. Painting is contrary to popular belief. Painting is not the center focus of this show at this point. It's your personality. It's the conversations we have. It's the off the rails nature. Um, Painting is a part of it, right? It's just not the centerpiece.
You know what it reminds me of? Um,
Oh God, not a Golden Corral. Oh God.
no, not a Golden Corral at all. I worked at this grooming club. They didn't like to call it a salon. It's a grooming club, and it was by this guy that was like a marketing whiz and probably a genius. And I've wondered, just by the way he functions, and this is not an insult, but you know how there's lots of um, psychopaths in business, in high level business. Um, Whatever. So this guy was just too, almost like a American Psycho level two on, and I really liked him. Like, don't get me wrong. This is very insulting, but anyway, he would say, "There's a total different approach. Is the haircut was not the product; it was the vessel. Um, it was the box in which we delivered the product, which I think was belonging and feelings. I think we were delivering feelings of status and connectedness. I don't know, really weird. I mean, I don't think he said that, but this is me paraphrasing what it was about. And I didn't like it because whatever. I mean, I liked parts of it, but I really just wanted to work in a salon. What I did like is that he um, showed us numbers. He like brought in like showed us what it takes to run a salon, which I already knew because that's like my favorite part about salons and businesses in general is like the numbers and spreadsheets and percentages and whatever. So I think we, in a way, in a very distant way, because he was like the owner of the company, right? But in a very distant way, I felt connected to him on numbers and business. Plainer Spoon says I groom myself on a daily basis. That's good for you because I don't. I only slightly groom myself, maybe. I definitely get the low level depression knot or whatever in my hair. Like I'll put my hair in a ponytail until it like really likes that shape. Next show, Justin, sociopath, coffee break with Ron Hawkins. Uh, Sib Storm, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I've thought about studying accounting, but I just don't know if I would like it. This is my next big fear is that I really liked hair, and then I got into it and I really didn't like the actual work. But I love spreadsheets, and Dave has actually helped me get. This might be boring to everybody else, but it's really cool to me. Is used to I would make this list of. Used to I would count the paint bottles. I would count how many bottles we had in restock of every paint, and then I would make a list with the lowest going to the highest. And Ed was like, "Oh dear God, you can't do that. You can't count all the paint bottles." And then I learned, okay, like just because something's the lowest doesn't mean it's going to stay the lowest. Different stuff is um, more or less popular, right? So now I have this system, or this developed into a system of this we make this much of, this we make this much of, because we make more of certain colors. Colors we make the most of would be like white and black, especially the 9037, the 9039. Then Dave was like, "Oh, you can do all this instead of taking three pieces of paper and like 2 hours. You can do all this in Excel." So I made this spreadsheet, and I made a system where the amount of paint in the bin, oopsies, has a value, and the amount we usually make has a value, and the spreadsheet multiplies it, and it gives me a priority, and then I can sort it by the priority. It's a masterpiece. It feels so good. It feels so good to do it quickly. And the only thing I miss out on is the actual handwriting part of it, but whatever. I'll type it up and print it out if it saves time. It's no biggie, but yeah, so Dave and I actually do talk about stuff like that sometimes. Uh, cutting hair isn't the hardest thing in the world. Different people, I went to school with people who the first haircut they did was great. I was not like that. I was better at color. Um, you know, the first haircuts I was good at though were they offered this class on like precision men's cuts through American Crew, the product company. And this class was so hard that every class somebody cried. And when I went back to instructor school, I got to help with it, and it was a lot of fun. I really liked it. Obviously, you don't want anybody to cry, but we've all got to be challenged, right? Grimm says, "It is by caffeine alone I set my mind in motion. It is by the beans of Java that thoughts acquire speed and the hands acquire shakes. The shakes become a warning. It is by caffeine alone I set my mind in motion." For the show. I like that. Okay. The camera really does show us a little bit more on miniature painting. Yeah. I do see a little white in there. And little white bits, but we won't focus too much on it. We'll start to block out more stuff. Vigo's Peep said math usually made me cry as well and everything else. I like math. I'm just not. I've cried because of math a few times, but like once I understand it, I like doing it. I think I would like math if I learned it. I noticed when I was in high school, if I didn't learn something from an instructor, I would ask another student, and sometimes that would work. Some people's minds just need a different. Like, I didn't know. This is interesting. This is my favorite part about teaching and learning. I could not grasp subtraction until I had a teacher show me touch points. So, touch points are like, so you'll have an 8, and you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which means I'm kinesthetic. And I've seen people do it, and I'm like, wow, that's so fascinating. It's so interesting. So sometimes you just have to learn in a different way. So when you teach people these days, like the modern teachers, this is why it's hard to be a teacher. The modern teacher has to utilize several modalities each lesson. So you have to teach multiple styles in every lesson so that people get it. Anyway, I'm all over the place today, but that's okay. That's okay. We love ourselves anyway. Me and Justin. Not just me. I'm not we. I'm not that far. Justin's not all over the place, but he is distractible. Or I can distract him. I don't know if that means you're distractible or if I'm just that good.
I guess it depends on what I'm doing. Good example would be like when I was setting the stream up yesterday with my phone. So
Yeah, Justin thought he hurt my feelings, and I was too distracted by something else. I had said something, and he was like, "What did you say?" I was focused on something else, and I was like, "Oh, it wasn't important." And I didn't mean like, well, I guess it wasn't that important. What I meant was, I'm already on to something else, and it really wasn't that important. I don't know anything about the new Dune, but I know a lot of stuff is set back, and it's kind of crazy. And that they canceled Glow. Have you ever watched Glow?
I have not, but I saw that they canceled it.
It's good. I love Mark Maron though. Love Mark Maron. Which reminds me, I talk about this a lot. Love the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. There is now a documentary series on Showtime about the Comedy Store, and I watched the first episode today, and it was so good. It's got interviews with oh, what's that guy's name? Letterman. It's got clips of Robin Williams, had Mark Maron on there, had interviews with Mitzi Shore, Pauly Shore's mom. Oh my god, it's so good. So good. Watch it. I did like a free trial of the Showtime like channel or whatever on whatever streaming service I was on. And I realized, I was like, I think they're just releasing these one at a time, like regular TV, which I forgot about. But oh my god, it's so good. I'd highly recommend it. And you can see like what all the hype's about. Because it really is something. It really is something special. And apparently, I didn't know this, that a lot of comedians went to Los Angeles because I think Johnny Carson went there from New York to Los Angeles. And so people were like, oh, I'm going to go there. Anyway, really neat. Who else was on there? Bill Burr was on there. And then like the new ones, like Whitney Cummings and Elijah Schlesinger and Nikki Glazer, maybe. I don't know. A lot of good ones. We'll see who else is on there, but I've a couple podcasters I listen to are like, oh yeah, I'm going to be on there. I'm on one of them. Hopefully Duncan Trussell's on there. That Duncan Trussell is like my what's it called? My like non-romantic soulmate. I love that Duncan Trussell. And he was the manager of the Comedy Store for a while. Okay. I don't even know how. Next time I'll come prepared with a picture of a beak. I don't even know what kind of texture a beak has. I think it's kind of rough. So it's not like a, when I think of a beak, I think of like a cartoon beak that's like really shiny and, what's it called? Just smooth. But I don't think it's like that. I don't think it highlights like that. Not that they were in a super realistic place in my skill level, but still. Okay. We're not quite to 420 glaze it. Tonight is the ghost tour, so I don't know how that's going to affect Reaper Live. It probably just means we'll really want to be out on time, so in on time, if that affects anything, Justin.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Before the studio shut down, there was we had tossed around the idea of even possibly streaming part of that. You know that?
What? That would have been
So
neat.
tonight's episode of Reaper Live might be extra short.
Um, I'm a little afraid of going on. There's this superstition of like attracting something that's just a little out of reach. So Goatman's Bridge isn't that far. I'm scared. I don't want to. I don't want to attract it closer to here because I'm the only person. Me and Michael Collins are the only people that are up here like late, late, late. Um, and it's scary. I scared the shit out of myself the other day. I had a drink with a straw in it, and I did that thing where um, I almost called it Mrs. Doubtfired. I Mrs. Doubtfired this straw. Like I leaned over it, and I didn't realize like I had pushed it with my chest, and it did that like thing a straw does, but it did it like extra fast, so it sounded like a creepy, almost saw-esque laugh. And it was like 2 in the morning, and I scared the shit out of myself. My heart was racing, and I was like, I've got to get out of here. I've just like I know what it was, but I've overdone it for myself. It's time to go home. So time to go home. Um, we're gonna tour a supposedly haunted area, and I think everybody's meeting up at 6:30, but I don't think we're starting at 6:30. Um, and I don't know what it is.
I think the idea is that the tour itself starts at 7. I think
I think
the idea
so.
is you start eating because I believe they said they're bringing pizza in for because
Oh
it's kind of a
yeah,
Reaper event. It's if I wasn't an hour, almost an hour and a half away, in fact I
Fort
had
Worth
planned to
office.
go on the tour, like I said, whenever before the studio had been reset. So
I don't know if the giveaway's open, Graham. I think we need like two more subs in order to give away the clears and surprise. Okay, so what we want to do with this is we want to make a green highlight, but if I added white, I actually don't know if this is what I wanted to do. I don't think that's what I wanted to do. I'm going to add yellow instead of white. It says, thanks, Dr. Bob. Oh, yay. We might be giving away two now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we have 8, 9 subs. We're at least giving away one. So, were you
and the
just
giveaway is
saying,
open. So hashtag free, I
yeah,
believe.
hashtag
Yep.
free it. Were you just saying something, Justin? I'm distracted.
Actually, hold on, I have to change it here.
Um, anyway, though, in the manual for the Learn to Paint Kit 1, it said to make a highlight of a color, you can either add white or yellow. If I'm not mistaken, it said that. Reason being, I believe, is that white often takes things kind of ashy. So we're going to use this yellow. Oh, I don't want to use this yellow. I think I want to use this yellow. Ooh, I don't know exactly what's in this, but it'd be better. What do I got in here? Oh no, I want 9408. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I don't even think this is what I want. I want clear yellow. I have clear yellow. I have it right outside the door. No, I don't want candlelight yellow because it's too warm. I'm gonna phone a friend. I'm gonna use a lifeline. Okay. Let's see. This yellow and that red. Oh, I wish I were calling Anne. Wouldn't that be the funniest way to do like an Anne like walk on cameo? Is to be like, hold on, I need somebody to bring me something. And then Anne walks in and brings me something. That would make me feel really offensive if I called in the developer of the colors to like bring me something like, hey, fetch me this. That'd feel like real, I should be fetching the colors, right? I'm the apprentice. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, you can come in. Um, Thank you, you're the best. Okay. Oh, um, yeah, I sent. Oh, that's Michelle. I don't think Michelle wants to ever be on stream. We had like a paper we sent around where we were like, who is willing to be on camera and who's not. And I think she opted out. Uh, oh, Valander, that's such a romantic visual. Me as the wizard's apprentice in Fantasia. I love Fantasia. Yeah, I guess Daniel's my apprentice. It feels nice. Feels nice to have an apprentice. Okay, so I'm gonna use like a doot of clear yellow, and I'm just using like a very, very little amount. Yellow isn't super strong, but with the clears, I don't like to do a whole drop because they're very they're very pigmented, and I don't want that big of a change. Oh no, I got some water in there. That's okay because I should be thinning my paints anyway. I don't think I've been thinning my paints. Oh, I didn't want it thin that much. This has been a wild ride. Whatever, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. That's yellow green. Okay. Okay. A doot is like a skosh. I think a skosh is less than a doot. My art teacher used skoshes. I think there's let me think. I think there's two skoshes in a doot. And maybe like I don't know how many doots in a drop. But that's my opinion. A skosh is just so tiny. A doot is a metric smidge. See, I don't use smidge, so I don't know. When do I start sculpting, and how long until I have a figure in the store? I am a hobby hopper, and I did take some green stuff home, and I tried to use it like without any instruction, and I was like, God, this sticks to everything. This is so hard. And then Kevin, our is Kevin a staff sculptor? I think he
Yeah.
is.
Technically, so is Daryl at this point.
Yeah, Daryl is Daryl, formerly the paint apprentice master, whatever. Yeah, but he was like, oh, he gave me some tips on it. Like, I think you have to work with it with water. 1 drop of water is roughly 50 microliters. How many microliters in a milliliter?
Probably 100 if it's like
Probably,
the
yeah.
metric system.
Go metric system. When I make these tiny batches, I get to use my handy conversion system that I made. Um, and if I get small enough, I get to use CCs. I like to do that. Makes me feel like a scientist. Oopsies, I was off camera. I was just taken back to that Coldplay song and video, The Scientist. Do you remember that? Sad. It was a good one. I've been inflicting a lot of sad on myself on purpose. Like a like the catharsis of the was it in Rome that they used to, I should know this, was it in Rome that they used to watch Greece, the Greek tragedies, and then they'd watch a comedy for the like cathartic value? I've been doing a lot of that lately. So I've been doing the like sad, sad, happy. Yeah, Greece. Um, that's when I got onto Tupac. I was telling Justin I was really on some Tupac yesterday. And Tupac's interesting because, I think Tupac's considered, like, I know I consider him, but I think Tupac is considered a poet. He had a poetry book when I worked at a bookstore. And I was thinking, I was like, man, just because it's kind of rough doesn't mean it's not poetry. Like, you'd have to think about literature that's kind of not, it's not happy. Like Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know if people really thought of Edgar Allan Poe as a little rough for his time, but I'm sure they did. I'm sure they're like, ooh, this is a little weird. He sure went through it though, so I think it's okay. Anyway, I'll have to add The Scientist by Coldplay into my cathartic pool. By strict definition, all lyricists are poets. Yeah, that is true. Bob Dylan, I think, is also considered. I mean, I know like they all are, but for example, I don't consider Katy Perry a poet personally. Not to attack Katy Perry, I'm sure there's plenty of other people I could have used as an example. Justin Bieber, I don't know that I consider a poet. Yeah, I know.
Hey, you take that back.
I like Justin Bieber. I love the Biebs, but he's not a poet. Not like Bob Dylan and Tupac. He can't get in that circle. Now maybe he will be. Wouldn't it be something? Now I know he had a little bit of change. Like Justin Bieber wrecked that car and then like told everybody he found Jesus or whatever. Wouldn't it be something if like, not in a really like kind of lame sort of Americanized way, but if he really did find some sort of, I don't know, if something did turn Justin Bieber into Bob Dylan. I don't know. That'd be a fun story, wouldn't it? I don't hate Justin
Maybe.
Bieber. Yeah, I was thinking Katy Perry probably doesn't write her own songs. She might, though, because she might. Whoa, Dr. Bob says, fun theory. In the movie Grease, Sandy actually drowned in the beginning and everything that came after was a dream and her trip into heaven at the end. Wow, that gave me chills. That's an interesting story, too. Any lyrics? Poetry. Justin Bieber mini and Bone 6 confirmed. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be mad at it. I don't even know if Justin Bieber's that relevant. I don't know what he's released lately. Cardi B is like more relevant, but like probably even less relevant. I bet there's somebody young that knows better than I. Oh. Chef of Love says, a while back I bought a CD called Close on Account If Rabies. Great collection of Poe tales told by famous people like Iggy Pop and Christopher Walken. What? Wow. That sounds neat. Hey, we like that here. Jess is just making stuff up. We too like to throw stuff against the wall and see if it sticks. I've dicked around most of this episode. Maybe next time, no promises, but maybe next time I'll write down a list of things I want to accomplish and I'll put it on my little whiteboard. I thought about it, but I was busy. Yeah. Put the list under your mini. See, if I showed everybody my list though, I guess I would have to do that for accountability. I thought it might be a secret list so I could fudge it. Okay, so what we did today, we did a little bit of highlighting on the green. I don't know if it showed up. We colored the beak, so I think everything has color now. Let's just do the eyes real quick. Let's just do the eyes real quick. No, we won't.
You can have until I'll give you a little more time today. It's a
Okay,
special
cool.
day.
I'll see. It is a special day, isn't it? Every day above ground is a special day. Um, I'm trying to see what I have. Okay, I have clear phthalo blue, and I have a red. I don't know how red that red is. I want red violet. Oh, Twisted Oma. I don't. Do you think my office is big enough, Justin, for the Adrian size whiteboard? I don't
Oh
think it
God,
is.
no.
I really don't. I think that whiteboard. Green eyes is good. I was gonna do bright violet, but green eyes was what I thought of first. Um, yeah, I'll do green eyes. Lay down the eye white first, then dot in color. That's true. I may be one. That's true. I finally told Ed, I was like, I'm not trying to be selfish, but if I get an office, I feel like I would really, really, really like a window because I have a bunch of plants. And, uh, yeah, I have a bunch of plants. See, I don't have Ghost Fire in here, um, but I do have Alchemical Green, which is the Pathfinder closest. Alchemical Green. Underpaint. Oh, I see. Because you accidentally said underpants. I'm laughing with you. I told my cousin's kid. This was a few months ago, but she flipped upside down in the chair. Or what was she doing? She was doing something and wearing a dress. And I was like, you know, I don't even know if this is how you teach kids anymore because I'm older. So I was like, you know, you probably shouldn't do that in a dress. Like when I was a kid, it was like, ladies don't sit like that. But now you don't, now, I don't know. I dated an anthropologist and he's like, now we don't talk about what's ladylike. We talk about like what's appropriate. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing these days. But I was like, hey, we don't do this in a dress. She was like, why not? And I was like, because your underpants will show. And she's like, well, I'm not wearing underpants. And I was like, she's like, I'm wearing shorts. And I told her mom, and she was like, yeah, we don't say underpants. Who says underpants? And she was wearing shorts under her dress, and I forgot that's a child power move. That's how you get away with doing whatever you want wearing a dress or shorts underneath. But anyway, yeah, I didn't want to be like, ladies don't sit like that. Uh, I had an aunt that used to tell me if I did, like, if I kept biting my nails, I'd never get a date to the prom. I may be one says my daughter's in her 20s and she wears shorts under her dress so she has pockets. That's smart. Huh. I found it weird my friend thought it was inappropriate to say poop. I always figured that was the setting neutral term. I don't know what the setting neutral term is. One of my guitar teachers let his kid cuss, and he said it bothered his mom, but he was like, oh, sorry, yeah. Can you hear the clock? Um, he said, what do I care if she says ass instead of butt or shit instead of poop? And I was like, I don't care. I don't think it matters. But but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we fall on cursing. I don't think Justin cares except for the show's family friendly uh, nature. Oh,
Yeah, I want it to stay as clean as possible, but obviously, if it's organic, it's organic, you know?
he's a Gary V guy, so he doesn't think that cursing makes you sound less educated. Right? Is that what you've told me?
Correct.
Yeah. Now there are people that think that cursing makes you sound less educated or less intelligent. I don't know. I don't buy that, but I just think they're words, but whatever. My parents, like my mom and stepdad, let me curse as long as I didn't say certain things in front of my grandparents or my like really uh, religious aunt and uncle. Like not even just really religious, I'd say really churchy. They're really churchy. I don't know. Like the F word, and I can never like I still can't say the C word in front of my mom. So I like never say it because there's so many people you can't say it in front of that it's dropped out of my lexicon. But I did really like the C word in high school. The myth says I don't like cussing for no reason. If there's a valid for an expletive, let it rip. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Uh oh. Somebody needs something. All right. We're going to do the eyes next time because somebody needs something and also it's 4:30. So we are going to draw our winners, winner, question mark, Justin.
Let's see. Hold on. Got 2, 7, 8, 9. I'm one sub away. Do you want to take just a second? See if,
Yeah,
because
let's
it'll
take
take him a
just a
second.
second. Let's
We're
just,
one sub away, folks, from 2 giveaways.
we, I think I've done this before, but I did this thing that people do with acrylic brushes for nails, and I reshaped my brushes with a bar of soap, and I might regret it later, but I can always just buy new brushes. So I did that yesterday. I think it worked pretty well. I think it kind of reshaped them. You're always going to get little bits that kind of split, but I think it did pretty well. I think I'm going to start doing that more often. I think it's better to use like brush soap, but I left my brush soap at home. I do this thing where I'm like, I just have to have this. I can't wait. And then I buy it and then I don't use it. I gotta get over that.
There we go. Thank you, Dr. Bob.
Thanks, Dr. Bob. Thanks, Core Mechanical. Perfect spoons. Perfect. So let's do our drawing and I'm gonna look for a raid.
Go ahead.
All right. This is something like I think I knew they existed, but I had never thought about before, which was like a wireless mouse and um, a wireless mouse and keyboard because we're doing so instead of having the tome in the paint department for the formulas, now we have a computer. But I was like, I sure don't want the computer. I don't want the computer out because I'll get it dirty. I'm really messy. And I don't know if that's normal. Like, I don't think Anne was as messy as me, but I'm really messy. So I have an additional monitor and I have the computer kind of safe behind it. And I was like, how are we going to do this? And the guy that I'm training was like, we should use a wireless mouse and keyboard. I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Because I was like, I wish we had a clear box with one of those things you stick your hand in that's got like gloves in it that you would use if you were going to touch an alien in some kind of sci-fi movie. I don't know. Kind of like the thing in The Fifth Element, but I don't think it had the little hand holes. I gotta watch The Fifth Element as an adult because I've just realized I don't really think I knew what was going on. Did they make that girl in the lab? Is that what happened?
No. She was
Did they find her?
the relic, yeah, basically. Well, no, they found her hand, and then through genetic reconstruction, they reconstructed her because they basically found that. Not that this is a spoiler, because again, movie's been out a while,
I've seen
but
it, but I was just too
yeah,
young to know what's going on, I
they
think.
they found that she basically gave her life last time to save human race, and
Oh,
yeah. All right, I have our two winners.
sweet. Ooh, somebody's drawing
Our
it.
two winners are
Go ahead.
Polaris Heart, or Polaris Heart, not Polaris, Polaris Heart,
Whatever.
and Grave Mistake.
Nice. Well, you guys are gonna win at least the Thalos, and something else to round out a six pack. A surprise. You'll get a surprise. So
And what's the command that they use?
you're gonna use exclamation point or is it exclamation or hashtag?
Exclamation.
Exclamation point I won something question mark, and it's gonna tell you instructions. Um Now the last time I picked something with a dinosaur, it went a little off. That being said, ooh, what is this though? Hold on. Oh, man, there's so much good stuff. Punctuated by a bunch of anime boobies. I wish I could.
What?
There's a bunch of good stuff on here, like not punctuated, but just like with anime boobies in between. And I was thinking, like, I wish I could filter those out. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but it just doesn't do it for me. And also, we're not going to use it to raid. So, but God Almighty, the anime boobies market seems to be quite saturated.
On Twitch, yes.
These poor people are like, I know what's gonna be really different is some anime boobies. And they get on there and they're like, damn it. Everybody's doing anime boobies. Okay, let's do the dinosaur. So, A Stew 623 ASTEW 623 is chilling and making art, catching up on Stream Inc. Come hang out.
Make sure to pass on the Reaper love. Keep being awesome, guys. Thank you again, Andamere, earlier if you're still watching. Probably not. Late happy birthday, but it was her birthday today.
Yeah, happy
Um,
birthday.
but thank you guys for coming out, and thank you again, Andamere, for the raid. And just keep being awesome, guys. Hopefully, we'll see you here in about an hour and a half for the Reaper live. I really don't know how long it's going to be, being
Yeah.
that we have much to do. So I say we.
Chewy Boots, this is not Dinosaur Pots. I don't remember Dinosaur Pots names. This is Dinosaur Drawing. All right. Bye. We love you. Be safe.
Keep being awesome, guys.